Pivot
Nyake.
Janet and the babies.
And both of them. Both big and small babies.
Halito.
CO.
Wina.
Unsti Hunterish.
Kunamante.
Yate.
Madawika.
Stongo.
Kikadus.
Do you say Gwyn already?
Yep.
Hawata. Wake up.
Hanapi. Hanapi.
Oh, dang it.
Hanapi. Hanapi. Good morning. Coming live from 1950 South Shepherd here in El Ghetto, Helltown, El Reno, Oklahoma. You know, we had a great weekend. It was pretty amazing. Got to meet a lot of natives that are on the Red Road, you know, which is always a great feeling. And then, Friday night they had the Stomp Dance exhibition. Alexandra,
Mhm.
she was there. Her and Nat got to shake some shells together.
Right, Andrea.
Andrea,
Yes.
yes.
Different pronunciation. I was like Alexandra. Which Alexandra? Andrea. Got it. Andrea Alexander.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. And then Saturday night we got to do the Gore Dance exhibition, which I mean, like as soon as we all got warmed up, like then
Had to cut it off.
which was all right, but it just felt good, man. Got to get up there, talk a little bit about, how Gore Dance comes from, the Bowstring Society.
Mhm.
That was, it was pretty cool, man. I liked it. Got to go up there and represent, my tribe. So, got to tell a little bit about, where Gore Dance comes from.
Yep.
And, it was just a good feeling, it's still, then we're on our way to Durant today.
Yep. That's why we're looking homeless.
Yeah.
Those are our driving clothes.
Yeah.
Got my Crocs on. Yep.
Yeah, I got on an old pair of sweats,
Yeah.
probably older than Darian.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I can tell they are. I can see all that limp
Yeah,
buildup.
build Things are comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a good weekend.
yeah, we saw a lot. Like, I like that you guys got to have some special guests on the podcast.
Yeah.
And then live streamed, that presentation. Mingo was cracking me up because he started going on the Mingo tour pretty much. And then forgot to mention the Gord clan. That stuff had me cracking up. He's like, oh yeah, and we have a Gord clan also. After talking for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was cool seeing like all that. I like seeing the positivity and the healing that comes from all those conferences. Yeah, I mean, it was.
I got to meet David Deere. I got to meet him, Stongo David.
Yep.
Good morning, brother Rossi. But yeah, Nyaki. I got to meet David Deere. He has a nonprofit that when I find his he gave me a card. When I find it, I got to go back through my stuff. But he's doing good things. He's in recovery. And he's part of a nonprofit that he put together with has to do with his son. So it was pretty cool. Got to meet Josh Pickett, who's always on here. Got to meet just different ones. Wesley Paul.
Yeah.
He has the same eye thing I got going on.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to find somebody I could relate to on that level. He's like, I know exactly what you're going through. And told me all, everything that I knew exactly what he meant, So that was pretty cool. And, to see that he's functioning.
Yeah, doing good things out there.
Doing good things.
Yeah,
I mean, So, once again, shout out to the staff, all the organizers of the Trail of Hope. Y'all did an amazing job. I'm already looking forward to next year, to going back. So, I had an amazing time. Everybody, I didn't hear one complaint. Like how you go to some conferences.
Yeah, they're always like, wow.
Nobody wants to hear that. But no, it was like good vibes all the way around. So, Y'all did an amazing job. I'm already looking forward to next year. And yeah, that was the 31st annual. I had no idea. I had no idea. So, Don, Ryan, Jimmy, like they were all very welcoming. Wes, D, everybody was good to us up there. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the hospitality. And like you were saying, it was good to get some people on. Colin Cash from Minnesota, he's the one who authored the training, the native peers in Minnesota.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he's the one who started Sober Squad and singing to how it's grown nationally.
Mhm.
I mean, that was pretty cool. He's a funny guy too. And then just it was just networking. Meeting people. And I don't know, like there's people from California. Got to meet Monique and Nikita, which was cool. Got to meet Colin. And then you hear speakers from all over.
Mhm.
So it was cool, man. It was a great, great conference. So, if you're not familiar here in Oklahoma, it's called Trail of Hope. That I'm assuming they usually have it around the Tulsa area, but I mean, it was a great time, man. If you haven't been, I would recommend that you go check that out.
Yeah.
So,
And it was super cheap too. I mean, $20
yeah,
just
$20 to register.
register. Yeah, super easy. You got it. You got it. Oh, all right.
Who else say good morning?
AK Dean says good
Good
morning.
morning, Alex Dean.
Misty Hickson. Drew said, Thurm
morning,
said, did Barry tell the Kiowa side or the Cheyenne side?
I told the Cheyenne side.
He negated the Kiowa side immediately.
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to any of them, but I know where Gore Dance came from. So I did. That's the side that I told. I only know one side. That's the only side that I know. So yeah, it was cool. Because he goes, this is he's from that tribe, and he goes, this is where Gore Dance comes from, saying his tribe. Then he hands me the mic, and I'm like, Cheyenne's is where Gore Dance comes from. But it wasn't that type of atmosphere.
It was a learning.
Yeah, it was a learning, and I felt like I told my truth. So it felt good, and I didn't get no pushback or nothing. Nobody was like, no, like
For you in the parking lot.
yeah, like it was like an understanding. Like I felt like I told it in a way where where we get it from, Cheyennes, where it came from, and how other tribes obtained it. But it was good though, it was, man, people that never gore danced. There's a Mexican guy from the Tulsa area who used to be with the Indian girl, and he got into recovery through Wellbriety. So they say he's been a part of that circle for years. And he's Mexican. But whenever they started gore dancing, we're passing out gourds, and he comes over there and he's like, hey, because at first he was just out there just jamming, with nothing. And somebody went and gave him a gourd, and man, you should have seen like the way he was out there. Man, he just had a big smile on his face. He was jamming, and got to see the brother Kerry. Kerry came and shared a good story with us. Got to honor him. He was up there cutting up. Boy, he was loving it too. It was just, man, it was a great feeling all the way around. It was a good feeling, man. I really needed that. So yeah, look into next year's Trail of Hope. If you haven't never been, I recommend that you get involved with those people, because first of all, they're good people. And then the feeling that I brought home. That's the thing that sticks with me, is the feeling that I brought home. It made me feel good that there's a whole community of us out there, and we were all there, like from the Oklahoma scene. So it was a great, man. They did a great job. So I hold to the Trail of Hope, committee.
Nadina says, "Thank you, Barry, for the father you have become for my grandchildren."
Oh, thank you, Nadina.
And she also says, "Good morning."
Good morning, good morning.
Susie says, "Good morning," tuning in from Darko. Christy says, "Hello from
Oh,
Melanie, Bear Robe, Nakosi, Warlito, and Christy Warlito."
good morning, everybody. Good morning,
Cassie
Stongo.
says, "Good morning."
Good morning, Cass.
Kendrick says, "Nyakit."
Nyakit. Are you going to Durant? Or was it Durant?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why I was
I'm gonna
thinking
end up going
Duncan.
to the wrong place.
I know. I keep thinking Duncan.
I keep thinking
Yeah.
Tulsa, even though it's because I'm just thinking of last year's conference. But yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Cassie says, "You guys look like you had an amazing time from the post I seen." That is
Man, it
awesome.
was cool. It's such a good feeling. I mean, it wasn't, I would say it was an unofficial Wellbriety conference. Because everybody there's in Wellbriety. All you see all these different representatives from all these different circles. And not just to say, there was people there that went to AA. There was a crowd there that were just NA. But, it's like if they didn't know about Wellbriety before then, they do now. So I think of it as like an unofficial Wellbriety conference. Because everybody's on the red road, so it just felt good. It was an amazing time. It was cool. I ain't gonna quit saying that.
Yeah. I do like seeing the difference in like native conferences versus Gen Pop. Like
Yeah.
like ours are more about family building and healing
Yeah,
together,
to
and
me
then
it's like a spiritual
yeah,
aspect to it.
and then we go to like regular conferences is more educational and just
Yeah.
networking, and so those are just
Epidemiologist.
yeah, yeah, they're not doctors, but like it's a completely different feeling, and so like I do like the polarity because I mean you do get to bring like whenever we go to general conferences we get to bring that kind of
That
spirituality
element.
and that element and it you can see the impact that it makes on those groups like whenever we spoke at Momentum everybody's like I've never seen this room jam packed with people and
Laughing.
laughing that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a good feeling. Oh, Nat said didactics. Yeah, lots of
Didactics.
didactics in these other conferences. But yeah, bringing our personality because I think that's one thing that we as natives have is lots of personality, lots of humor,
Yeah.
and I think it shocks people like in the general world, like the stuff we laugh about and how we can still find laughter anywhere. And so it's cool to see that whenever we bring that to conferences, and so that's why I do like going to. Hold on. Barry's almost knocking over our new camera for the third time today. All right,
It's a little bitty thing.
I know. Yeah, yeah. If you guys like this camera, let us know because
Yeah.
we're testing this one out. We might go back to the old one because the old one sits further back.
And I can bump
And yeah,
everything
because
and it
Barry
won't
just
fall over.
yeah punched it earlier.
But yeah, it's one thing, to like, when you say conference, it's just kind of
Mhm,
like what's this gonna be? What's this gonna be about?
mhm.
But like after Momentum, it just kind of seemed like I see conferences in a whole different light now. And I'm not saying like, well, I got to be speaking at it for it to be interesting. Like.
But he has to be speaking.
I mean, when I get up there, I'm just gonna be myself.
Mhm,
And I think people can appreciate that. That's how natives are. We can't be anything else but ourselves.
mhm.
So you're always gonna have that native humor. You're always gonna have like like we know, like we've all been through it. So I mean, and the way that we can be happy and smile, and not everything's funny, but I mean we can definitely make a
We'll
joke
find
out of it.
yes, funerals. Oh,
Yeah.
man. The amount of laughter at funerals is just ridiculous because that's just how we heal, how we connect,
Yeah.
and so Yeah, stuff that isn't funny, we will find something around it that is funny.
Definitely.
Cassie says the camera makes us look bubbly. We just look bubbly. This is how we
Yeah,
look.
it's natural.
Yeah, that's
a filter.
Yeah. All right. What else? So Ron Kale says, Pivawana, good morning.
Wouldn't it, Ron?
Yes, Nyakit. Welcome to the team.
Mm-hmm.
It's our newest peer.
Yes,
if nobody
Ron
knew.
is our newest peer.
He'll
Peer
be
recovery support
he'll
specialist.
be taking part in the Clinton side.
25 years of sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. You know, I feel like that's the part we were missing. Is somebody with long-term sobriety. So I'm very honored that we allowed, that the creator allowed Ron to join our team. So thank you, Ron. We appreciate.
Susie says, Kikadoos from the
Kikadoos.
Pawnee Nation. Blessings to Tor. And glad we got to meet Chad in Tulsa. And blessings and prayers to my granddaughters, A.K. Dean and
Oh,
Naomi.
yeah.
And then Nyakit Lydia.
Nyakit.
And then Carrie says, I'm glad it wasn't the dear lady. Oh, I think he's talking about the meditation. Yeah, because he said the meditation reminds him of the story that he was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And then Nat says, I'm fearful of the MCs this week with native humor.
I know one's going to be talking regular.
Talking about her big lips. That's all she talks about.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Reminds me of that fish off that One Fish cartoon movie. I can't think of the name of it.
I can think of when Monsters Inc., whenever they have that little vacuum thing, and then it sucks the color and then swells their lips. That's what I think of. I'll find a picture of it. But yeah, ready to jump in this?
Yeah, let's do
I don't
this.
even know how long we've been on. I'm still waking up.
Let's do this bad boy. Desiree, are you taking notes?
Yeah, so you guys better tune in this week because we're not taking the podcast.
We're not going to be here, so it's going to be Desiree, Theta, and maybe some other guests. So, show our Prevenger baddies some self-proclaimed.
I was going to say
some love. Allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, show them some love this week, they're a part of the team. And we're trying to let them get their feet wet. So
yeah, Desi said she's going to tell you guys about how to get 10,000 steps a day.
She
did it for school, and so you're going to hear that 4 times in a row, so that way it fills up the live slot.
It'll be about something else. But well, when I start my day
to try to reach 10,000 steps on the red road. All right. Let me try to produce at the same time. All right. The old Lakota was wise. He knew that man's heart away from nature becomes hard. He knew the lack of respect for growing living things soon led to a lack of respect for humans too. So he kept his youth close to its softening influence. Luther Standing Bear Ogalasu. When we live in nature, it's like constantly being in school. We are in an environment that is always teaching. We are constantly being reminded that there are laws, natural laws, which are running the universe. Once we know these laws and we drift from them, we start to live our lives in a different way. Soon we become discontent, selfish, and disrespectful. Then we get in trouble. If our lives have become this way, it can be reversed by going back to nature and being among our teachers. Great Spirit, teach me again the natural laws.
Mado. For reading that, Mr. Chebeda.
Do you know Theta thought Mado was pronounced Muvto because she only read it? I just remembered that.
Well, what came to mind was in I guess in the sense of what natural law is. Like how can I be guided by something that I don't even know exists? Because at one time I did live my life like that. I had no idea that maybe the power that the sun had and why why the moon was so important. Why like I was lost. The natural laws that we used to follow, was the way of Mother Nature. We live by what Mother Nature provided. All the elements that it took for us to have our ceremonies was everything that Mother Earth created and gave to us. And we were guided on how to use these things. So, it was an amazing thing to like, I guess, have that spiritual awakening on what's important and what isn't. It seemed like I felt like a failure because I couldn't do the school thing. Like that just was not my cup of tea. And not because I wasn't smart, not because, because it just didn't, I just didn't understand, why, learning about some,
Made up story.
yeah, like why, like why, I wanted to know more about where I came from, where my people came from, what they went through, their struggles, how did I get here? And it wasn't until I got sober, that I started finding out these answers. No, you always hear them. Like, I grew up in a Cheyenne community. You always hear these things. I had grandmas that were always able to sit there and, kind of fill in the blanks, about some of the questions that I had. But then, there was a lot of questions that I had that they couldn't answer because they were women, Women know about women things, men know about men things. So, and then by the time I got old enough to understand those things, I was on a different path, Seems like I lost touch with a lot of things that, are important to me now, that I didn't understand at the time why these things were always stuck in my head, why I always felt that emptiness, whenever I would go around our ceremonies. I didn't feel like I was worthy. I didn't feel like I deserved, to know these things because what was I going to do with it? Like what good was I going to do, because I know when I get back in the streets, I'm just going to go back to what I was doing. When I was hurting people, I was, I'm sure my spirit was lost, because I kept drinking and doing drugs, so it wasn't until, you know, uh, when it talks about that natural law, you know, to me, that started with allowing my spirit to come back. They say whenever you get out of your mind, when you use these mind changers, when you use these different substances, that your spirit leaves your body and it wanders. You know, uh, for me to understand the natural law, I had to allow it to come back and to keep it. You know, uh, it's been 3 years, 10 months, and like 26, 27 days. Which is like 1,426, 27 days since I've been sober. My spirit has been with me the whole time. So now I have this feeling that I'm whole again. And it's given me like my natural I'm gravitating towards our ceremonies. I'm gravitating towards this spiritual feeling that that it only feels like it only like comes out whenever I'm in the ceremonies, when I'm in the sweat, whenever I'm in prayer, whenever I'm burning this medicine, like to me that's the natural law that I'm able to that I finally discovered is important in my life. So when it talks about you know the natural law, to me that's where it begins with me. is this feeling that I can't explain to anybody, and it's pushing me to want to know these different things. It's pushing me to want to sacrifice for my prayers. So I mean, when I think about natural law, those are the types of feelings that I get. Those are the things that go through my mind. When I hear that word, natural law. You know, I didn't I didn't understand that there's an unseen world that's happening all around us. But I couldn't see that because, my spirit was always wondering. Now that I'm a part of, that's how I was able to understand what natural law is, because I'm sober now. I have that clarity. I have that guidance where, the creator put me on the red road and he's allowing me to go to the trail of hope. He's allowing me to gourd dance. He's allowing all these different things, these great feelings that I never knew existed because of the natural law that's happening in my life. I feel like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. So, oh,
Mm.
I didn't even know I was gonna say all
I didn't either.
that.
Shelly says, when I got sober, I was too afraid to go back into my community because I was afraid
Yeah.
to go back to my old life.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also said, good morning.
Good morning, sister.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this, I kind of think of whenever I was getting my education for criminal justice, which was not worth it. But uh, like we had somebody come in and like just said straight out like they didn't believe in rehabilitation because and so that was like everybody was already ready to start beefing with him. But then he's like, because half of the like more than half of these people, if not all, were never habilitated or they never were exposed to the natural law. And I feel like that translates perfectly into a lot of our people
That is
is
good. That's a great point.
it's like because it's generational, so you can be born into not knowing natural law.
Definitely.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of our youth kind of they're kind of lost. And
Yeah.
once this stuff clicks in their head of like where they can find all this stuff, they will try to connect to it more. Nah, he's trying to get your attention. They want to connect to it more. And so I think that's what we're doing, with us being very open and vulnerable about how we feel connected to our culture, which is like invigorating our spirits. And so seeing that happen real time with other people
Mm-hmm.
is so great to see. And especially the kids, like we see a lot more kids taking part in activities that are culture based, whether it's making hand drums with us, listening in a talking circle, gourd dancing, anything. And so this is all kind of planting that seed of what natural law is and how we're just a piece of something larger, and we know that we need these things to connect with each other, to keep our spirits high, to connect with our spirituality side. And so yeah, that's all I got.
It was good. I like how you brought that up. Most kids today, like I think of like in the in urban setting.
Mhm.
I don't know how urban El Reno is, but it's
It's
bigger
not,
than most towns.
not that urban, but yeah,
Yeah,
urban
I
to us
mean,
in the West.
yeah, urban to me, it was a huge city compared to where I came from. And I remember moving to El Reno and I was like in culture shock because like they didn't even know what being Cheyenne meant.
Mhm.
To them it meant that you drink for 3 days and then you beat people up. To them like that's what being Cheyenne meant to them.
Mhm.
And I was just like blown away. But it was such a normal thing that instead of trying to push what I believed and the way I was brought up and the things that, made me feel good, because then I was different, I would have stuck out. I didn't want to be different. I didn't want to be, so instead of going that way, it was easier for me to be a follower.
Conform.
Yeah, I was a follower. And then being Cheyenne wasn't cool enough. That was one thing that I can see where that led my life. I joined a gang. I ended up in prison, whenever I was 16 years old, by doing gang stuff, like, and I struggled. I struggled for so many years with who I was. Because in the streets, I wanted to be this person. But then, before I joined the gang, you know, uh, I got initiated into the dog soldiers. And that's where I felt like that I needed to be. It didn't matter what I had going on in my life. I would quit a job, just to go be at the Sundance all week. Like, because I knew that, like, that's what was gonna save my life. So, I mean, I can understand that struggle. I remember moving to El Reno and just thought, like, where all the Cheyenne and Rappos at? You know what I mean? Like bunch of gangbangers. Like it was crazy. So today, I think that mindset has changed to where we understand, like I don't know, like I don't know what I would be considered in the streets today, an OG or whatever, but I try to use if I have any influence at all, I try to let it be for something positive today. And I want our younger generation to understand, like, the culture is the solution. I look at my relatives that stayed close to that big drum, that stayed involved in our ceremonies, and they've lived good lives. So if I can, I would be the opposite. Don't be nothing like me.
Scare them straight.
Yeah. So it's the pain and heartache I had to go through to realize that. I wouldn't want to see any other of my people all across America. Any of our native people, like, man, the culture is the solution, and I can't say that enough. So, yeah, that was good. I like that you said that.
Oh, you're welcome then.
Mado, Mado, Mado,
Muvto.
Moto.
Muvto.
Mado, Mado.
Wesley says, "Good morning, brothers. Yes, we had a good time at Trail of
Yes.
Hope. Nice meeting with you." From Wes.
Thank you, Wes. Yeah, man. He all of y'all did a great job. I just want to say thank you. I'm really looking forward already to next year. So
Just have it at the world-renowned Watanga Casino and Resort. Got one conference room. Yep. All right. Leslie says, "Good morning,
Good morning,
Brother
sister.
Barry."
Good
Naomi
morning,
says,
sister.
"Good morning from California.
All right.
I'm 136 days in my sobriety.
Thank you for sharing that.
I'm also worried if I'm strong enough to go back to Louisiana every day. Is a struggle here as it is."
Hey, that's another thing that was brought up to my attention. I completely get that. Why you when you go, of course, California is that's what saved my life, right? Like, I went to Dream Recovery. Shout out to Dream Recovery. Connie Grimes and Todd Taylor and Jen Young. Lavelle Atkins, L.A. Those are my people, right? And they did help me. They helped me. I look at it as they saved my life. But But if I didn't get involved the way that I did, there was no pressure on me to go get a job. There's no pressure on me to really do a lot of things that would help me sustain my life, when I left treatment. So, I just want to encourage you to, if going to California and going to rehab taught me anything, it's how to put one foot in front of the other. Okay, so what's the next step? Okay, I'm sober. I got on Indeed and I started filling out all these job applications. I was like applying at McDonald's, Del Taco, like, like whatever it had to look like. Like wherever I got a job, like I was gonna go. And then it seemed like once I was gonna have to start paying rent on my own and my insurance wasn't gonna cover me anymore, I came back to Oklahoma. I mean, I had, a couple thousand saved up because I'd already been working for like 2 months, but yeah, just learn how to start putting one foot in front of the other. Okay, you're sober, what does getting a job look like? What's it going to look like for you getting there every day? Like all these things that, I had all this positive momentum built up that's what gave me the strength to come back. It's like I had a little bit of change in my pocket, something to stand on when I got here in case I ended up on the streets. Luckily I didn't. And so I would just encourage you, what does that look like for a person? What's the next step? Don't just sit back and allow that insurance to pay your way. This is your life and it's your opportunity to work on yourself. And, for us to be, civilians that are ready to give back. I mean, sometimes that may be the only way is by doing the right thing when nobody's looking. So to me, that meant getting a job. To me, that meant me having to buy my own groceries. I remember at Fountain Valley, there's this old cat, right? He says, "When's the last time you bought toilet paper?" But the way he says it's way funny. When's the last time you sorry, mom? When's the last time you bought toilet paper? You know what I mean? Like these are actual questions, that you got to ask yourself. So. Spam. Well,
let's see. Mary Faye says, "Kickadoos! Wow, what a
Kickadoos.
weekend! Happy to see you guys and the many others that were in attendance. Left with a wonderful feeling. Fed my soul with hearing people's experience, strength, and hope. Seeing all the faces of recovery, my heart is full."
Yes, thank you. And Mary Faye did a video compilation. Remember, like we did in Billings?
Mhm.
That's what she did. She had like an actual like camera crew there, though.
Oh yeah, way better than us.
Yeah, it was like an actual
Yeah,
production.
Our camera crew is Barry and Mingo.
Yeah.
And Mingo forgot to plug in the microphones.
So yeah, she had, and it was cool, and I kept stuttering the whole time.
Like you don't do this.
Yeah, like I don't do it every
Get
day.
nervous in front of a camera. Yeah.
But yeah, so I like the first video that she did when they showed the young lady she's gonna take the pill.
Oh yeah. The
And
commercial.
then Mary Faye lifts her head up. Like I love that. Like that was so if it's anything like that, I know it's gonna be very, very successful.
We
But
need to hire her and her peoples.
I know,
Do
right?
a video over here.
I know, like that was like I like that whole that was pretty cool. So
Oh god. Okay. All right. Well now.
now we're gonna
Desi's ears popped
got
up.
out of it.
Yeah. So allegedly, we can now do the
We're
podcast.
gonna take the
in
podcast
Durant.
stuff with us.
Do we get our own special stage?
No, but y'all got a room.
Oh, we get a special room.
Oh,
Look at that. I don't know what we're gonna do, but
Specific time frames, but
okay. All right. Well, it'll be a little session.
well, that'll be cool. So I guess we are gonna be doing the morning meditation from Durant. So Dez and Theta, y'all got lucky.
I know you're gonna have to do it off your phone though.
down there.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I think that's. I don't want to do no.
Well, we got one announcement. Just
No.
yeah.
Early.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys have gas money or in the Durant area on April,
How far away
Third.
is Durant from here?
3 hours away.
it's 3 hours away. Okay. All
Gotta
right.
go.
I know. Well, anyway, so if you guys are in the area and want to show us your best Lulu or war cry for our very own Carly Ty Flying Out, she is accepting the 2025 7th Generation Youth Leadership Award. It'll be at the Choctaw Casino at the closing ceremonies, right? Award ceremonies of the conference. And
So it'll
so,
be what, Thursday?
yep, April 3rd around noonish, 1, 2,
Yeah, somewhere around
somewhere roughly around there. But yeah, so come out and yeah, show her support.
Yeah, she's a great representative for our All Nations Res Recovery Gourd Clan. You know, she did a great job at the conference too.
Mhm.
She kind of stumped. You know, it was funny
Yeah,
because like
she's
she
like-
got nervous. Like,
there. Act like she didn't know what she
yeah,
was
like she was like, just do your introduction. And she took off. But
Yeah, talked
been-
about being the beacon of hope.
yeah, for sure. So we appreciate. You know, she definitely likes to hang out with us. So
I think she likes that we're not squares. Yeah, we're just we're goofy. We're just dorks. And then it's just hearing us bicker with each
So
other and Mingo.
it's pretty cool to you know, now the Gourd Clan is getting recognized for the work that they do. So
Mhm.
that's pretty cool. So do we have any comments? Anybody say anything before we get off of here?
Dave says good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Renee Riggles says good morning.
I hope you got that thong on at the beach with sandy cheeks. Dave went to California.
Oh, he's probably at the nude beach.
Yeah, at the nudie beach.
Yeah, so yeah.
Buck.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm still
All
trying to
right.
wake
Well,
up.
like, share, follow. Tell your mammy about us. And we doing Mental Health Monday?
I mean, if
I don't know,
if this
man.
room is reserved for
We might do it this evening, maybe. You know, since we got all the time in the world, we'll be at another conference. So, but yeah, me and Nat got to go pack and get on the road. So,
Dave says he's stretched out with Randy Nolene getting black.
X marks the spot.
Yeah.
yeah. Wearing them straps, them thong straps over his shoulders.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy yourself, brother, and you know, bring me back a Crenshaw shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we will see you this afternoon, this
Yeah, we'll
evening.
figure it out.
We'll definitely figure it out. But if not, we'll see you tomorrow, if anything.
Mhm.
So thank you for all the comments. You know, thank you for Trail of Hope once again. It was an amazing conference. So hopefully Southern Plains can
Top it?
top it.
Nah, they probably won't.
Nah.
Not a
Be didactic.
Yeah, it'll be educational, and then our portion at the end.
Yeah. From tearing it to sharing it.
Yeah, everybody else. Medication for opioid use disorder and how to implement them in your communities. And right after that, from tearing it to sharing it, from turn to learn, presenting by just 4 rugged people.
Well, we will see you later. I hope.